Good morning, it's Archeage 101 with Jalan, and today we're going to be talking about gearing up in 5.0, specifically Hiram Gear, the new gear that was introduced to bridge the gap between high and low geared players. For those of you that know me, I have run around with the legendary T7 club for a couple of years now, and I've made the switch. I have made the switch to an Epic T3. I'm going to explain to you why. Lots to cover today, lots of different topics. I'm going to talk about why Hiram Gear compared to some other gear. I'm going to tell you what stats you can get on your Hiram Gear. I'm going to tell you how to get it. I'm going to tell you what to do with it, specifically how to feed it, how to awaken it. Don't worry, for this one, I do have shortcuts with the timestamp in the description below. So why Hiram Gear? And I'm going to start with healers. I know healers the best. Here is my legendary T7. You'll notice that +0 next to the name. Don't worry about it. That's how tempering is done now. Not going to talk about tempering today. You can see when I pop in the Epic T3, right off the bat, what should grab your attention is that its raw equipment score is a little bit higher, about 19 points higher. You'll see a couple of bits and pieces, and then I'll break them down. You're going to see the DPS as a melee weapon is just higher. You're going to see that healing power is straight higher. What you do have is you do have +3 spirit on the T7. Spirit 113 versus 110. But after that, it's all the Hiram weapon. It's got that +15 healing power. The equip effects, it's going to give you 2.3% more crit heal bonus, but it's also going to give you 6.1% crit heal rate. Now, I do want to point out that when I talk about the equip effects, I have chosen the most likely stats that a healer would take, or a mage would take, or a melee would take. If you wanted to switch this out with any other stat, you could, and I'll show you all the possible stats on the weapons in just a little bit. When we talk about for mages, here's your legendary T7, and again, your epic T3. Straight up, the Hiram has +30 intelligence. Now, I will note the loss of 40 stamina on the T7. Magic attack is going to be higher on the Hiram again. The equip effects are radically different because you're going to get that 17.3% critical magic bonus, and then you're going to get 6.1 critical magic rate. Now, you are losing a little bit of magic defense penetration and 8% on your God's Whip damage. Talk to a lot of mages, and they seem to be a lot happier with the overall crit magic damage bonus of 17.3% overall. More rounded weapon instead of being built around a single spell. For your melee, same sort of thing. You're going to notice that the DPS is just straight higher, just higher starting point. Again, 30 extra strength, loss of stamina. You're going to get that critical melee bonus damage rate and melee crit rate. Beyond that, other than the loss of the delirium stacks, you're seeing that the Hiram Gear is just plain better than the legendary T7s. I'm also going to say that it's better for hybrids, people that want to play some sort of tanky mage, or they want to play like a paladin or an argent, a blood thrall. What you're going to see is previously with the T7s on the outside, the pure weapons, they had a higher healing power or magic attack than the hybrid weapon. Now, it wasn't a big difference, but it was a difference. When we switch over to the hybrid weapons, you'll notice on the outside I've done a pure healer with spirit crit rate and crit heal bonus. I've done a pure mage, same thing. But what if I want to be like a paladin or an argent or a blood thrall? Well, on my synthesis effects, you'll see I have the same club with the same healing power, but I have the 110 strength, I have the melee crit rate, I have the melee crit damage. I've taken a healer weapon, but I've put a very melee spin on it. Now you could do that, or if for some reason, you'll notice on the next one, maybe you wanted to be an archer with a scepter, you could do that. You could put agility and range crit rate and range crit damage. Maybe you want to run Malediction for some reason, and you need that magic attack on the weapon pure. These are options. I will point out to you that the DPS on the hybrid weapons, the weapon damage appears to be lower, but what you have to keep in mind is this is based on the attack speed. You'll notice that the attack speed on the club and the scepter is 1.2. The example I've thrown up in the upper corner is the sword is an attack speed of 1.0. So the raw DPS, damage per second, is higher, but you'll see that damage range per hit, it balances out. I just didn't want anybody to see that and be like, but the DPS is, yes, the DPS is now affected by and calculated off of the attack speed. Is it better than Erenors? That's going to be a big question for people. And this is going to come down to a lot of personal preference. You see I'm comparing an Epic T3 to an Epic Erenor. Magic attack, you're going to get 53 magic attack on the Erenor. That's pretty big. That's pretty huge. Intelligence, you're going to be picking up 3 on the Hiram. Magic crit damage, you're going to get a full 17.3% a bonus on the Hiram. The Hiram's going to give you just a little bit more magic crit rate. So at epic to epic, it's all personal flavor, but I'm going to give the nod to the T3. I'm going to give the nod to the Hiram because it's bringing a lot more. Yeah, it's definitely overshadowed by that 53 magic attack difference, but crit rate and crit damage is huge. When you throw it up against a legendary, that 153 magic attack on the Erenor, that's huge. That's absolutely massive. You are going to struggle to make up that pound for pound. You're not gonna make up that 153 magic attack. Intelligence +6 on the Erenor, so the Hiram loses that little bonus. You are still getting the magic crit damage bonus on the Hiram. And of course, since the legendary, the Erenor went up to legendary, it chipped away a little bit of that magic crit rate. At this point, what's the Jalan? What absolutely do I do? Truthfully, if you're going to go Erenor, you should be working towards getting it Mythic. And once it's at Mythic, it's pretty much hands down too much raw magic attack differential. If you don't have that kind of bankroll, definitely getting your T3 Hiram is not going to set you far back. And then you could eventually work on the Erenor at a later date. Let's talk about some stat options. I said that these weapons are very variable. Now, you guys have noticed I've only talked about weapons as well. I will show you the armor chart. I didn't want to talk about armor. I will talk about armor at a later date. I just want you to see the charts. So here are your weapons. So you can pretty much do what you want on the weapons as far as melee crit rate, range crit rate, cast speed, attack speed. I can speak intelligently on the fact that I've gotten my cast speed down to be ridiculous again, and I don't have cast speed on any of the weapons. Healers and mages, I want you to pay specific attention to the bow category. Unlike obsidian bows that really didn't do a lot for us, your bow is also going to have healing crit rate and crit bonus or crit or cast time, whatever you need on your bow to flush things out. Melee and archers, same thing. You're gonna find a lot more crit range damage on your bow. For archers, you're gonna find the ability to put range crit damage and rate on your weapons. You could do it with the obsidian daggers and the spear before. Now you can do both. So lots of flexibility. When it comes to the armor, again, I'm still working on the armor. I am not 100% completely sold that I want to make the transition away from obsidian healing armor. I may make the transition to do PvP Hiram and keep my obsidian for PvE healing. So I want to show you the chart, ask a lot of questions. We can discover things together. Let's talk about how to get Hiram Gear. This is going to be the big one for people who are coming back. You can get it if you qualify for a Homecoming Warriors package. If you played before Evolution and now you're coming back, really, really robust package. You're going to get a lot of bits and pieces. You're going to be able to basically make an entire set. May not have the stats you want on it, but you will have a whole set. If you want to just kill mobs to get it, you gotta farm mobs in Aurora, specifically Diamond Shores, New Amari, Heedmar, Calmlands, and Markala. If you farm in Exilok or Sun Gold, you're gonna get infusion bags. I'll show you those in a second. If you're doing the Jake Song event, you can get Hiram Gear by doing the coin turn-in. A little bit expensive, but once you have the onesie, unless you're going for fountains, don't really have much else to spend the coins on. And the Jake event, again, you could do the Diamond Shores quest, and you could get 2 pieces of Hiram per day. I would recommend the Jake event doing West Hiram Mountain for the infusions, but if you don't have any armor or weapons to infuse into, maybe want to take a day to pick up a couple of pieces. What to do with it? Basically, you're going to have a Hiram weapon, and I'm going to show you guys this. We're going to show it in the PowerPoint, then I'm going to jump in a game and do this. You got your Hiram item. You're going to level it to Celestial by infusing stones or other Hiram gear. You're going to awaken it to T2. Once you awaken it to T2, it becomes a Radiant Hiram item. You're going to level it to Divine. You're going to awaken it to T3. You have your T3 Brilliant Hiram item, and you're off to the races. So, well, we'll talk about feed infusions or other Hiram gear. This is just like cloaks or cosmetics. We drop in a game. Let me show you this direct. What I have is I have a bunch of bags from killing in the Abyssal Legion in Reedwind, Sungold Fields, and Exilok. You'll notice I said if you want gear, you got to farm in Aurora except Sungold and Exilok. That's because in Exilok and Sungold you get Hiram infusions, not gear drops. This is labor intensive. You will open these up. The good part is when you open them up, pop this over here real quick, you are going to get XP. I think I'm getting 6,874 XP per bag I open, helping me march to Ancestral 34. So now you'll see I got a pile of these scrolls. I'll talk about them again in just a second. I've got my Hiram weapon. It's not quite Celestial. And then I've got my other sealed mysterious Hiram infusions. You get those from West Hiram Mountains. Talk to you about those in a second. I click gear upgrade. Throw in my dagger. This is my offhand dagger for farming. And I'm going to throw in a couple of stones. Now you'll notice it's going to tell me, do I want to keep the current effects? Do I want to roll off strength, crit rate, or crit damage? I got lucky. I got the dagger exactly how I wanted it when I opened it. So I did not have to worry about that. So I want to keep everything. When I synthesize it, it goes up to Celestial. Now that it's Celestial, I can use one of these scrolls. Tells you right there. Can only be used on Hiram Guardian equipment on Celestial or higher grade. Now this is what I like. Pop in my scroll. Don't panic. I want to show you a couple of things. Number one, this has only got a 10% success rate. It could crystallize. Bonus success rate. I'm hoping this fails. Never do I really want things to fail, but for this live cut, I'm hoping it fails. You'll also notice that its rank is going to go from Celestial to Rare. It's going to lose a lot of stats. That's because it's going from its maximum T1 to a lower form of T2. So I'm going to awaken, and I actually want to fail here. Now, I got a failure. Now, a lot of people are like, Jay, why would you want to fail? And I also got it crystallized, which is another thing I wanted. I wanted both of those things. I'm going to talk about them, and then you're going to see them on the flowchart. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to need a decrystallization scroll. I happen to have some. You need to get them. You get them in the honor shop right here for 10,000 honor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a decrystallization scroll, and I have removed the crystallization from my dagger. Now, what's going to happen here? Use 10 more scrolls. Pop my dagger in. Now you'll notice success rate is 10% with a 5% bonus success rate. Because I failed once already, I get a bonus to trying to send it up. Try to send it up again. And it failed. But this time, it did not crystallize. I don't need another scroll. And hopefully, see, it failed again. But now I know a lot of people are like, Jay, This sucks, but now look at what I got going on. I got a 10% success rate. I got 15% bonus success rate because I have failed 3 times already. This means it will eventually go. Maybe. We do it live? Maybe. I'm gonna run out of labor. I actually am gonna run out of labor. Last one. Don't be mean. But I'm at 45% now. I am at 45%. There we go. Now, is it always that bad? No, I'm going to be honest with you guys. That was actually the worst one I've ever done. I've never had one go that many fails. But now you'll see I have a Radiant Hiram Dagger. Lost some stats on it. I kept the enchant on it. If I had had gems in it, I would have kept the gems in it. Now, the temper. I've heard rumors that when you fail, you lose points on your temper. I can't prove this. If you guys can speak intelligently on that, leave a comment below. So we come back into the classroom. I know it's so much more fun when we go into the game. Where to get infusions? You get these in dailies. You get them in farming in Exelock, Sun Gold, Reedwind, and West Hiram Mountains. Want to show you guys that you do get a different one in West Hiram Mountains. You get mysterious Hiram infusions, and I only have a chance since I took so many to open. I'm hoping, can I get a heroic one? I did not. They do have a heroic one. One of these heroic infusions. These will come out of the mysterious Hiram infusion bags. You guys saw Awakening. Now, the only difference between Awakening my T1 and my T2, Awakening my T1 took Hiram Awakening Scrolls. These are the blue ones. It takes 10 and 300 labor a pop. So you guys saw I burned through all my labor for the day. Very labor intensive when you get a bunch of fails. For T2 to T3, you're going to need Divine Radiant Hiram Scrolls. You're going to need 25 of these. Now, one thing you need to know is 1 day's worth of dailies is only going to give you 21 Radiant Hiram Scrolls. So you're either going to have to farm out 4 extra scrolls, and they don't have the greatest drop rate in the world, or just realize that the first day you do this, you'll get 21, and then every day after, you'll get 1 attempt to upgrade. I will tell you guys, my club went in 3 tries, my bow went in 3 tries, and my loot went in 1 try. So that was pretty good. Let's talk about, we talked about that gain success every chance and every failure. Eventually it will go. We just saw that eventually it's going to go. Real quick, what was the flow chart? Did it awaken? Yes, good to go. No. Did it crystallize? No. If it didn't crystallize, item is ready to awaken. Yes, it crystallized. Buy a crystallization scroll for 10,000 honor. Uncrystallize it. Item is ready. Use awakening scroll. Start the process again. So you guys saw it, and this is the explanation of it in case you had any questions. Hiram Gear dailies. There are 7 of them. 1 in Diamond Shores, up by the Miss Marrow portal. 1 in Exelock, 1 in Sun Gold. These are right when you poured into Exelock and Sun Gold. The Hiram guy standing right there. There's 1 in Reedwind, right when you poured in. There's going to be a guy standing right there. West Hiram Mountains, there are 3. 1 at the base camp and 2 at the Illusion Cave. A couple of things you want to know about this. Doing these daily 600 times, not each, but in total, will give you a celestial title, Heir of Hiram. So if you're a title hunter, it's going to take you about 85 days to do, but at least, hey, you know there's a celestial title you can grab. Also, doing the dailies every day will reward you with infusions, tempers. There's things that come from every time you do a chunk of them. I think it's on the 10s, you get a reward. Basically, when you poured in, Diamond Shores, it's the Drill Master. He's the only guy that's not a Herald. Drill Master is going to be 50 kills, going to give you 2 infusions. Exelock and Sun Gold, 50 kills, going to give you infusions or scrolls. Remember, you need 10 scrolls for an attempt. You may want to stack up on scrolls for a while, and once you have a couple hundred scrolls, then you can start taking the infusions. When you're farming in Exilok, Sun Gold, and Diamond Shores and Reedwind, the commanders will often drop scrolls. The ones in Reedwind will. The commanders are higher loot drop for gear. When you get to Reedwind, same guy, Hiram Herald. He's going to do the same thing, except he's going to give you 10 scrolls or 4 infusions. Once you're done awakening all your T1 gear, you still want to do these dailies. Quick, easy way to get infusions. When you get to West Hiram Mountains, at the base camp, you got your 7 Radiant Hiram Scrolls or 3 Mysterious Hiram Infusions. Person in my situation, I'm done awakening the gear I want to T3. I still do these for those 600 dailies I have to do and the infusions. And then Illusion Cave has the same thing, 50 and 50. Basically going to be killing 400 things between 5 zones. Easier than grinding gold for hours and hours in order to regrade obsidian. Like I said, I've been back for less than 4 weeks. Show you guys where I'm at with my gear. I've been back less than 4 weeks. I have a brilliant Hiram Guardian Club maxed. I have a Divine Bow for my healer set. I have a brilliant Hiram loot at 97% of unique. I also have that offhand dagger. I have another bow and I have another instrument. That's all for helping me farm. I farm as a blade dancer. Healers, you really want to try to look at farming as a melee build. When you get your Hiram weapon, your DPS is pretty high. You can get away with farming as a melee. Do Paladin or Argent, something that, you know, kills faster. Should you use quills? Big thing that you guys are going to find in the Prestige shop. You're going to find these quills. When I first got back, people talked about how you should be using these quills. Use these quills. They stop crystallization, give you a much higher chance. They take 50 awakening scrolls and then 100 radiant scrolls. So a really big scroll investment. I ended up using 80 scrolls today, guys, for that dagger. I wouldn't have wanted to use what would that be? 400 scrolls and what, 8,000 per no, 4 times 8, 3,200 prestige. I wouldn't have wanted to use all that. Probably would have gotten the success sooner, but you guys saw it was a no-brainer. Yeah, it gives me a higher percentage chance and it cannot crystallize. The drawback is the quills are an investment. You can spend prestige elsewhere. Those quills, if you buy them off the auction house, they are expensive. I mean, 83 gold a pop doesn't sound like a lot, but I was just as easily able to brute force it. And like I said, I've never had a single item take 8 attempts. So take what you saw today with a grain of salt. It was just bad luck. I wouldn't recommend using quills. And honor is cheap comparatively. 10,000 honor? 10,000 honor is nothing. And that's it, guys. Sorry for the long video. I did say I was going to start trying to chop these videos down, but I wanted to put everything on Hiram Gear into a single video. I thought it would have been kind of cheap to talk about half of it and then be like, oh yeah, and check out tomorrow's video for the rest of the story. I didn't like that. It seemed disingenuous, so I didn't want to do that. If you guys need more help, my Discord is back up and it is jumping. There is a link to the Discord below. If you need an invite for some reason it doesn't work, get me on Discord. I'm Jalan, #8446. I will be streaming again Wednesday and Friday. Sorry I had to miss my show last week. My little one was home sick. It was the holidays. I wasn't going to stream with a 5-year-old with an ear infection. I had to be dad. And big thanks to my sponsors, Luna Chaos and Mori. There is a giveaway going on right now. I'm trying to get to 3,512 YouTube subscriptions this year. I don't know if I'm going to make that. If I do, I'll give away a lot of gift cards. But these guys make the gift cards possible. Anyway, lots of editing to do. I want to get this one ready. Want this one to be ready for my preview for Wednesday's show. So you guys take care, and I will talk to you later. Hey, where are you going? You're not done yet. See these videos? This video's up here to watch. You got to go over here. Hit the chibi. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the webpage. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.